Okay. All right, we are looking at the financial system. Guys. Okay, we are looking at the financial system. The financial system as a whole. The financial system as a whole is a way to transfer funds between savers and borrowers. Now, what you will have happening is that the financial system will is kind of like a circle. This is like a circular flow, just like when we talked about the economy as a whole. But we have people that are constantly saving and people that are constantly borrowing. Okay, so the financial system will work on transferring funds between savers and borrowers. Now, obviously, the savers will get some sort of return on their investment. So, in other words, they will get compensation for lending their money to borrowers, and borrowers will have to pay for the ability to borrow money. So, a couple of things to do. A couple of things to do with your money. First of all, you can save it. So savings is money that is not used for consumption. So if you save your money, how many of you regularly save money? Okay. Now, question: what do you do with it? When I say save it, what do you do with it?
Sometimes I just like set it aside in a spot and then eventually you should put it in the bank. Then you get it. You got money in the bank.
Okay. So, guys, savings by themselves is not enough. So just putting the money aside in your room is not enough.
You gotta get interest on that stuff.
Yeah, interest is important. So savings is the money not used for consumption. This is the money that obviously you're not using to pay off any of the things that you need to pay for, which as a teenager, it's probably very little. Your other option, guys. Okay. Your other option is to invest it. Okay? By investing it, what you can do is you can use the money, the use of the money today that allows for a future benefit. So what you're going to do is you're going to basically put it in something that will give you interest. Okay, so it's going to be putting it someplace. So you're taking that savings that you have, and it's kind of connected to the savings. So you're taking it and putting it into something that will earn you interest, something that will give you a future benefit. Now, savings accounts. Savings accounts are good. However, anybody know what the interest on a savings account is?
Doesn't it depend on like each?
Yes, it depends upon your particular bank.
0.07.
Yeah, it's going to be less than 1%. Okay, less than 1% you're getting on your savings account.
Is that annually?
Yeah, and it's compounded, but still less than 1%. Not that great. We're going to talk about some other things that you could do with your money that will make you more than 1%.
Put it in a CD.
That is an option. Okay, now, so like I said, is that savings is putting your money away, maybe in a piggy bank. Investment, here are some of the investment options. Obviously, there's gold, which are commodity. You can go buy that. Bond, you can do a CD, a deposit. You can do real estate. You can do stocks. You can do mutual funds. There's lots of different options. We're going to talk about the ones next week that are within your grasp. So we're not going to talk about real estate, for example. Okay? How does the system work? Okay, so first of all, you have financial assets. Okay, you have financial assets. These are claims on income and property. So these are things that you own. Okay, that includes maybe, for example, if you own your car. If you have, for example, a really extensive baseball collection, that could be worth some money. You have, some gaming console, that could be worth some money. Okay, these are all financial assets that you own. including, obviously, the money that you have in your savings account, in your checking account, the money that you have laying around your room. Okay, those are all financial assets. So, financial assets are going to be helpful in this system, and I'll explain how it works. But you also need what we call financial intermediaries. Financial intermediaries are these institutions that kind of are the middle guy. They help lend savers money to borrowers. Oftentimes, you will not necessarily know somebody that can lend you all of the money that you need. And so you will go to a financial institution, financial intermediary, to be able to get what you need. So, financial assets, like I said, can include car, money, house. Obviously, you don't own a house, but for adults. And then financial intermediaries, most of the time they are banks. Not all the time, but most of the time they are in banks. So we're going to take a look at some of the types of financial intermediaries, including 3 types of banks. But there are a lot of other financial intermediaries that you may not have thought of. For example, finance companies, mutual funds. They're also included as financial intermediaries. All right, so last thing that I wanted to explain is kind of how this all works and ends up being this great big circle. So I've got kind of a diagram for you that you can draw out in your notebook. It will take up probably most of that slide, but I'm drawing it pretty big. So we've got 2 people. We've got savers and we've got borrowers. Okay? Savers and borrowers. What we have happening is that we have people out there that are saving money, and then we also have people out there that need to borrow money. Okay? Sometimes it happens where they know each other and they can help each other out. For example, have you ever loaned money to a friend?
Yes.
Yes. Okay? Now, you're loaning money to a friend, and you are what? The saver or the borrower?
Saver.
You're the saver. Okay, so you are loaning money to your friend, and so you are going to provide them with some of your savings, or what sometimes we call it surplus funds, because if you think about it, it's the surplus money that you have. You know, so you go to lunch, and your friend says, you know, I don't have $5, or can you lend me $10 or whatever? You're like, well, I got $20. I can pay for my lunch, and I have some extra money left over. Okay, fine, I can loan you, front you the money. Now, obviously, in return, what are you expecting?
Or to have me
Interest.
You're going to charge your friend interest?
Of course.
You're an awful friend.
Don't borrow money from Blake, man.
So smart.
At the very least, you're expecting that your friend's going to pay you back, right? Probably, unless you're Blake, you're not going to charge them interest, okay? But they are going to pay you back with their financial assets. So they will pay back with the financial assets. So think about it. Remember, financial assets are their income and their property. So maybe it's a case of, you know, I don't have, you know, $10 to give you back, but I have this movie that you like that I could give you instead. That's valued $10. Do you accept that instead?
That's what I really
Blake is very
Depends
determined
on
to
the
give that
movie.
money back. What?
Depends on the movie.
Well, obviously, it has to be something that you like. Now, here's the thing. This works, guys. This works except for one problem. What if I want to buy a car?
Can't pay with the movie.
What if I want to buy a car? Do any of you have $10,000 to loan me to buy a car?
Can
I give you $10,000?
I don't think that's going to work.
I do.
Now, if you don't know, guys, hold on. If you don't know a borrower that can lend you the money that you need, what are you going to do?
Go to the bank.
You have to get a loan. You may have to go to a financial intermediary. Like I said, they're the middle guy.
This is crazy.
This is like the circular.
Yes, it is. So you may have to go to a financial intermediary in the middle, okay? I.e. a bank, okay? They're not the only ones, but for this intent and purpose, we could be a bank, okay? So here's what happens is that we still have savers over here, okay? Like, for example, Chloe, maybe go and put her savings in a bank. Does it just sit there in the bank and just wait for Chloe to take all of her money out?
No.
What do they do with it?
Use it for loans.
They use it for loans. So Chloe will go and put her savings or her surplus funds in her bank. And the bank, like I said, is not going to let it just sit there. Okay, they do have to keep some of it. It's what we call the fractional reserve system. If I had more time, I would explain it. Huh?
They don't have enough.
They have to. Oh,
That's why I like the bank runs.
that's what happened in the 30s, but they don't do that anymore.
But they don't have enough for everyone.
They do. They have enough to be able to back it up based on the FDIC. Fractional reserve system. All right, so here's what happens is we have the bank that will then go and turn around and take some of the money, not all of it, some of the money, and they will lend it to borrowers. So some of their savings, some of their surplus funds will go to borrowers. Think about it as, you know, the bank has to take, like I said, they have to keep some of the cash in reserves. They have to keep it on hand because maybe Chloe or Grace or somebody else wants to come in and take their money out. So you've got to keep some of it. But they will lend out some of it to me to be able to buy my car, right? Now, they are expecting that I'm going to do what?
Interest.
Pay them back.
I have to pay them back, and in this case, I do have to pay them back with interest. So, borrowers will pay back the financial intermediaries with their financial assets. Obviously, in this case, they will only accept cold hard cash, right? They will not accept a whole bunch of CDs. I'm sorry. Okay, in return, what did the financial intermediaries offer Chloe? Because they took her money and they lent it out to somebody else. Interest. Okay, so they will pay back Chloe some of the financial assets they receive from the borrowers. So what happens is that the borrowers will pay back some of the interest, and they will pass some of it, not all of it, because remember they're a for-profit company. They got to make a buck off of you. They'll pass some of it back on to our saver. Okay. Make sense? Yes, it does look like eyes. All right. Anybody have any questions?
Nope.